Welcome to Believers Talk, and we are at halftime of the first game of the NFL season. Hope that all of you are enjoying the Eagles and Falcons game. Got off to a late start due to a thunderstorm delay or something of that nature. So late night, but it's very exciting. We're very excited to have football back. During halftime, I wanted to get on here to preview this Sunday's matchup as the Buffalo Bills play the Baltimore Ravens. If you are watching this game on NBC, or if you're watching this game using our friends over at the Sports Fury or our friend over at Philly 500, just know I will have this done hopefully by the end of halftime, so you can go back to those channels. If you're not already subscribed to those channels, I would highly recommend that you do. Both channels are great. Both have great content. Sports Fury will go on for every live or every primetime game. That'd be Thursday, Sunday, and Monday nights. And then your Philly 500 is going to have the live Eagles games, play-by-play and reactions. So, hey, glad you're joining us from Spain. Hope you're getting to watch the Eagles game tonight. But yes, we definitely want you to be here for the Bills game. So like I said, I wanted to come on here, preview the Buffalo Bills game as the Buffalo Bills take on the Baltimore Ravens in a game that's in Baltimore. And that's this Sunday. So a couple things I want to say. First of all, guys, I am so sick and tired of hearing about how Baltimore is going to beat us. Wow, 4:35 a.m. Good luck with that, man. I commend you on that alone because I wouldn't be able to do that. But yeah, I'm just getting really sick and tired of hearing how Baltimore is going to beat us, how Baltimore is so much better. Baltimore started as 3.5-point favorites, and now all of a sudden they are 7.5-point favorites. I mean, again, just a true sign of us the Bills being disrespected in the media and in betting even. So I'm really hoping that this Sunday we prove them wrong. And another thing that works out in my favor is that in the suicide pool I'm in, I'll say about 40% of people pick Baltimore. So it would help me out there as well. So yeah, Bills fan 1970, thanks for joining me at this halftime. I hope we do shock the world, at least the sports world, when we beat the Ravens on Sunday. But I did want to get on here. Let's preview the game a little bit. As like I said, the Bills play the Ravens, and it's in Baltimore. So what are we looking for going into this game? Again, I expect it to be a low-scoring game just because I don't see either offense being that strong, and both our defenses are stronger points for both teams last season. You don't have to apologize for anything on here, man. Don't worry about it. I don't know what we're trading for a 5th-round pick. Hopefully, we work on O-line prior to that. O-line is definitely a major concern of ours, or that's something that we can work out with having the huge salary cap numbers. We do have over 100,000 in cap space next year. So what we use it for, I'm not sure about, but we will definitely focus, I think, a lot more on the offensive line and probably defensive line next year, going into that season with all the salary cap space and also with with the extra draft picks. We have 10 draft picks so far, so that's impressive. So going back to the Baltimore game, one stat that really stuck out to me, or two stats kind of put together, is last year the Bills allowed 32 offensive touchdowns. 20 of those offensive touchdowns were on the ground, okay? So, that's, I think it's like 62%, 62, 63, somewhere in there. Someone with a calculator can check my math on that. But anyhow, and then Alex Collins, the Baltimore Ravens running back, after week 10 had 6 touchdowns. Okay. And that was tied for the league lead after week 10. He had 6 touchdowns. So those two stats if you're a Baltimore fan, those two stats work really well for you. So, but Collins last year was his first real year in Baltimore. He kind of proved himself to be the starting running back there. And so that, I think, is a huge key for Buffalo, is stop the run game, which I'm sure Baltimore would say about the Bills too. Stop the run game, put it in Joe Flacco's hands. Stop the run game, put it in Nathan Peterman's hands. Whoever does better at stopping the run, I believe, will win this game. I just think that our defense might do a little bit better of a job at that. I just think McCoy is just the better back, right? And we hope so. We really need to lean on McCoy, Marcus Murphy, Chris Ivory. I think we really need to lean on those guys to do well. But then again, we do have Kelvin Benjamin. We do have Zay Jones, who I, again, expect to have a better year. But I really think we need to pound the run to start the game, get some pressure off Nathan Peterman, and let him kind of ease into things a little bit more. Other than that, you look at Baltimore, you look at Crabtree, they picked up during the offseason. John Brown, they picked up in the offseason. Two really good wide receivers, a little bit older, and I really like our secondary. I like our corners against them too. And then our safeties, of course, with Hyde and Poyer coming over the top. I really like those matchups as well. Really stings for the Ravens that their starting tight end will be out for this game. Just because, again, if you didn't listen to my last live stream, I do believe one area where we might struggle is that over the middle, like deep over the middle passing game, just over top of the linebackers, underneath the safeties, or if the safeties are helping the corners. That seemed to be a huge concern of ours during the third preseason game against the Cincinnati Bengals. And so I wouldn't expect that to change too much going into the regular season. I hope it does, but that would be an area of concern for me. And, of course, that run defense. Like I said, we have Alex Collins had 6 touchdowns after week 10 of last season. We allowed 60%, a little bit over 60% of our offensive touchdowns allowed were running touchdowns. So hopefully we can stop the run game a little bit more. Like I said, put the game in Joe Flacco's hands. Joe Flacco is coming off statistically one of his worst seasons yet. Hopefully get a little more pressure on him as well. That will force some bad throws, maybe get some turnovers. The Seahawks game, first of all, it started late. Secondly, it's, 6-3 right now, I think. But yeah, it's not the offensive juggernaut that we thought would be. The over-under for this game, I believe, was 48.5. So if you bet the over-under on this game, I really hope you bet the under, because it's just not looking like they're going to hit that number. Again, we are underdogs by 7.5, since I'm talking about numbers. But going to the Bills side of the ball, as far as offense, like I said, I believe we need to run the ball effectively. They do have a tough defense. They have defensive ends that will swap out, kind of like what we want to do on defense. They have Terrell Suggs, of course, who's coming into his, I think, 17th or 16th year in the league. He just seems to always be a consistent force. But I want to maybe get a little bit of a screen game going as well. Make them over pursue sometimes. We actually saw in the Eagles-Falcons game, the Falcons made the Eagles over pursue on the first drive, had a screen pass to Freeman, I believe, that went up the sideline. Those are the type of plays I would like to see us try to do as well. And this is a huge game for Dable. This is Dable's first real game as offensive coordinator for the Bills. And like I said, his NFL offensive coordinator experience has not proven to be that great. So what does it prove to be here? Obviously, with Nathan Peterman, you have a different skill set than you do Josh Allen. So maybe that's another reason why they picked Nathan Peterman, because of the skill set and how that matches what Dable wants to do on offense. We need to get the ball moving on the ground, even if it's not with McCoy. Really like Marcus Murphy, guys. And I also really, really think Chris Ivory needs to step up. Yeah, no one, Anthony, you're right. No expert has picked the Bills. Everywhere I've looked, no one's picked the Bills. I actually do get to talk to Pete Prisco over at CBS on Twitter sometimes, and he's kind of a Bills hater, which is kind of why I started going back and forth with him a little bit. But I just really, no one's even, very few people with the spread even being at 7.5 points have Buffalo covering the spread. I think that's the part that's really insulting to me. Everyone thinks that we're just going to go to Baltimore and get our butts handed to us and then just go home. I just don't understand. I think a lot of people look at Nathan Peterman and they only see that LA Chargers game last year. And that's another factor in this game. Always turnovers are going to play a big factor. Both teams were really good at creating turnovers last year. A couple stats about Baltimore's defense. They had 3 shutouts last year. That's really good in the NFL. They had 3 shutouts. I believe I heard that's the most since back in the 70s as far as shutouts go. Probably that Bears defense back then had quite a few. But that's including the Baltimore Ravens team from like the early 2000s, the one that took them to the Super Bowl. So, and that team was explosive. They had issues on defense when Jimmy Smith was out the last 4 weeks of the season last year. And Jimmy Smith will be out the first 4 weeks of the season this year. So maybe that will add some pressure as far as how well they do. And they also had another injury last year. That was I forget which one it is. I believe it was like the their right end or something like that was hurt for some games, and they had trouble when he went out as well. But he's back and healthy. They expect more from Jimmy Smith's backup as far as in the corner position. But we really need to make sure we do not turn the ball over. The Baltimore Ravens have forced 2 turnovers or more in every preseason game so far this season. So that's something we really need to be careful of. Not putting the ball on the ground when having arms, which I would look at Chris Ivory and say, don't put the ball on the ground. Nathan Peterman makes smart throws. If it's not there, it's okay to throw it away. Sometimes it's okay to take a sack. You don't have the mobility of, let's say, a Tyrod Taylor or even a Josh Allen. I'm okay with you sitting in the pocket and constantly, getting rid of the ball quickly. And remember that just in preseason, just because you did well doesn't mean that the defensive schemes don't change for you too. I've sat here and talked plenty about how, we're not showing everything in preseason. Well, neither are any other of the other teams. So they're going to run different blitz schemes. They're going to run different packages that Nathan Peterman hasn't seen yet, and he'll get confused. I think about a linebacker sending a blitz and then faking out and coming back to cover a tight end. If he tries to get that ball out quickly, like in the preseason, that might lead to some trouble. So I really hope the coaching staff has worked on him looking at that, recognizing that, and being able to throw the ball somewhere else or get some yards some other way, or just run out of pocket and throw it out of bounds. These are all options I'm good with. Yeah, I again, the whole situation with the media and Trey White, I think Trey White deserves a lot more credit, but they just don't. They have no love. Crabtree versus White will be a good matchup. I think Crabtree is a tenacious wide receiver, always looking to get open, never giving up on a play. So I do look forward to seeing that matchup. It's almost like the media is convincing me that Baltimore might win this game. And everyone's talking about how great of a team Baltimore has, and I just don't understand why. I don't get what they did in the offseason that makes them better than the 9-7 team of last year. They had a tight end, great, but Gary, I'll be live Sunday at 12:30. 12:30 p.m. I plan on being live. Give a little pregame. Like I said, do a little fantasy news. And just do it that way. Cleveland used a few blitzes against us. Maybe I don't remember. Cleveland game was the second preseason game, right? And so I don't know when those blitzes came. Was Peterman in the game? These are things that matter. I'm not saying they don't throw blitzes at us, but they're not throwing all their stuff at us. They're not showing us everything that they want us to show us. So, like I said, I'm really hoping that the coach staff's working with Nathan Peterman to make sure he sees these things. Baltimore on defense, obviously they want to try to create turnovers. They probably feel like they have a good shot to create turnovers with Nathan Peterman. I'm looking now, guys, and the Falcons are getting ready to kick off. It was only a 13-minute halftime, so that's okay. Probably want to get this game started with again just to make up for the delay. So that's a touchback for the Eagles. So I want you guys to watch this. I want to watch it. Like I said, I'm a huge fan, but wanted to get on here. Anthony, thanks for stopping by. I will see you on Sunday, hopefully. Wanted to get on here, give a little bit of a breakdown of what I want to see on Sunday. Again, I see the Bills winning this game, maybe around the 21-17 range, 2-17 range. It should be a great game. I'm looking forward to it. The season is here. Hopefully you're enjoying the Eagles. Like I said, if you are not subscribed to the Sports for Your True Philly 500, they're both currently live streaming the game with reaction and commentary. Sports for You will be going live for all of your primetime games, and Philly 500 will be covering all Eagles games. So subscribe to them. Subscribe to me if you haven't already. We will be going live Sunday for the Bills game. Like I said, I plan to be on here around 12:30. I will not have time to get on here before that to do another preview, so I wanted to get on here to do the preview. Buffalo at Baltimore this Sunday. Be here, guys. It's going to be a good time. So, again, I picked the Bills to win this game 21-17. You can let me know what your predictions are in the comment section. Please, like I said, subscribe, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. It's going to be a fun season, guys. I look forward to it. But till next time, go Bills.